windows, to the walls. Eren wants those Titans to fall. This week's episode of Attack on Titan Junior High is just like the rest of the series. It's a big goofy in-joke that only AOT fans are going to get. That being said, if you happen to be a part of the club, you might actually like this episode, as it reintroduces another classic character from the series, and one of my personal favorites, Riko Brzezinska. And guess what? She's still a ball buster. To me, reviewing comedy anime is really difficult because everyone has a different sense of humor, and there's going to be a lot of jokes in this episode that some people are going to like, some people are going to think they're pretty lame. There were some jokes that I really appreciated in this episode, but more than the actual humor, I just like all of the callbacks to Attack on Titan in general. How they'll take something that was very serious before and turn it into something which is really jokey. Case in point, the maneuver gear, which is one of the biggest parts of Attack on Titan. It's how the characters actually get around, and it's what actually gives them sort of an equal footing when they're fighting against the Titans. It makes them jet around like Spider-Man, so to speak, and they finally decide to introduce them in this episode, and I was really sort of hoping they would kind of go crazy with that, just, you know, have a little fun with the animation, kind of like what they do in the intro, but no, they use it to wash windows and walls. Because that's the whole point of this week's episode. Eren is going to be joining this club, which apparently is just involving cleaning windows and cleaning the walls that the Titans are constantly making dirty with their graffiti. When I say graffiti, that's not like a joke or anything. They literally bring paint and spray paint and sort of just leave their own insignias all over the walls, which has really been pissing off the humans for quite some time. Again, like I said in some of my earlier reviews, the Titans in the series are not dangerous. They're just a bunch of dicks. However, the dickery of the Titans is honestly what makes this show so funny in the first place. Because inherently in the original Attack on Titan manga and anime series, the Titans are absolutely horrifying. They're nightmare fuel. And here they just turn them into some playful high school bullies. Going as far as to almost making them, dare I say, lovable? But let's get back on track here. The real story of this week's episode is that Eren is trying to learn how to use the maneuver gear. And just like in the original series, he really struggles at first. And that's because his gear, just like in that series, is broken. The humor of this episode, though, is that Riko Brzezinska doesn't want to admit that these things are broken and is doing everything in her power to hide that fact, which leads to a lot of funny scenes, like Mr. Hans getting completely drunk and slamming into a couple of people on the walls. Really, it's just a pure parody and satire of that story arc. So it really depends on how much you like Attack on Titan, is probably how funny that this scene's actually going to be. So, what's the rundown on this episode of Attack on Titan Junior High? This is a very strange series, to say the least, and it's really nothing groundbreaking, and it's basically just sort of riding the wave of awesomeness that is Attack on Titan, but at least it's going to give those who are waiting for Season 2 something to chew on in the meantime. What I did like about this episode, though, were more of the smaller scenes, just the things that are only there for a split second. Whenever Mikasa gets really angry, or the scene of Armin at the beginning of the episode where he's wearing his futon and he's actually sweating profusely. But if you remember from the previous episodes, Armin just loves to be warm. Hell, he's got like 10 heaters in his room which are running at full capacity. But this episode right here also just had some really funny imagery in it as well, like how almost every single statue on the campus is actually like a Titan, except that they're in Japanese attire. Like, you see a shot of the Colossal Titan multiple times, and he has like a samurai top knot. This, combined with the teeny cute proportions of every single character, allows them to be very expressive. This is an episode, again, which I really can't do justice. It's an episode you kind of have to see for yourself. And just like the previous reviews, I'll say it again. You might like this series if you like Attack on Titan. Everybody else might not. That's just the way it is. Otherwise, this was another okay, ridiculous, funny episode of Attack on Titan Junior High. Nothing groundbreaking, but you might get a couple of laughs out of it. I was really hoping they were going to do more with my favorite character, Riko, basically just recalling all of her jokes. Hell, she even brought her flare gun back. I think that was some pretty good attention to detail. But really, that can't save this episode entirely. It was still just kind of average. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. A few chuckles, but just an okay episode of Attack on Titan Junior High. I'm more interested to see if eventually Eren himself is actually going to turn into a Titan shifter, and if he's actually going to have the ability to actually transform and fight against the Titans. How are they going to make that funny? I think that's going to be really awesome. But I want to hear from you guys. What did you think about this week's episode of Attack on Titan Junior High? Did you have any favorite funny moments, a favorite character who showed up? And what do you want to see from the rest of this spin-off comedy series? Make sure to tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!